What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. And when I'm recording this right now, it is currently like around 10:50 at night, directly after the Phillies clinched the NL East division. So whenever this is posted, I think it's going to be more later in the week. Take for granted I don't know the results of what's going to be happening here with, tomorrow's game against the Cubs, how the Phillies are going to play after probably being hungover. That'll be very, very funny to witness that again. And I don't know what the result is going to be on Wednesday night. So most likely, with the way I'm scheduling this, is most likely going to be posted on the off day on Thursday before the Washington Nationals series and when this Cubs series is wrapped up. And maybe by then it'll be, Phillies already wrapped up the bye week and all that stuff. So basically, I'm just talking, you know, barroom conversation stuff right here directly after the Phillies clinched the NL East. We already know they're making the playoffs, blah, 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 blah. It's really just, looking on this team and the goals that are, yet to come, and they still, goals that they're trying to pursue right now. And like I said, granted, this is not, before, possibly they clinch a bye week or anything like that this week. Like I said, I'm recording this, on a Tuesday night before, well, not Tuesday night, Monday night before I go on vacation. So like I said, so it's definitely going to be I guess a rambling type of, pod, anything like that. So, just directly coming off of them winning the NL East crown. It feels good. It definitely feels good. I know I got a call in the recap from Sean talking about the NL East division, winning the championship definitely doesn't, ring as much as it used to just because they've added so many wild card spots. I guess I can agree to that to some extent, but when you were watching, this Phillies team, I would say over the past couple of seasons, and even honestly, once they signed Bryce Harper, they brought all these people over here, JT and all that stuff, 2019, when they were still trying to figure out who they are. They were trying to get on the cusp of getting back into playoff contention and all that stuff, all the years with, Gabe Kapler, Joe Girardi, all that stuff before we eventually get to the present. The team is making the postseason, 3 straight years, and they're bona fide World Series contenders year after year, and that is the ultimate goal for this team. It's just, really, when you look to that point and when they finally, it's collapse in 2019. Well, they weren't that good in 2019, 2020, the historically bad bullpen 2021 that when they were in first place basically, I believe it was at the end of August or something like that. Then the bullpen was just completely terrible that entire season with the blown saves. They just couldn't figure out who they want to put in that closer role, basically wasting the MVP season that was from Bryce Harper. And then you get into 2022, we think it's more of the same old stuff at the beginning of the year. They can Joe Girardi. They bring Rob Thompson in as the interim. They go on this historic winning pace, basically, really a winning pace that felt unsustainable, but they just kept winning and winning and winning and winning. Then Bryce Harper goes down with the thumb injury. Then they kept winning and winning and winning. Then Bryce Harper comes back. Then September happened, and basically it felt like the Phillies were going through an utter collapse at that point, literally trying to back themselves into the postseason spot, being saved from the matter of the fact that the Milwaukee Brewers in 2022 also collapsed on their own asses and helped the Phillies, find a way to squeak into that final wild card spot, and we're just thinking to ourselves as a fan base, thank God. Holy hell, they just finally figured out how to do it. Aaron Nola was taking a perfect game into the 6th inning, 7th inning, whatever it was, against the Houston Astros. You get the Kyle Schwarber leadoff bomb, 2 home runs in that game, and you manage to find a way to finally clinch a postseason spot for the first time in so long. And it was just that as a fan base, we can finally have something to, look forward to instead of, Philly season just being another, okay, just get us to football. Just get us to the birds. Just get us to everything else that happens in the fall, because at this point, we know the Phillies are not going to do anything. They're just a distraction at this point for something further down the line. Now, once you're starting to make playoffs consistently, you're starting to become a main commodity of the summer, even though baseball is a main commodity of the summer, not in the mind of Phillies fans or Philadelphia fans when the team wasn't really that good, when they were bad, when they were going through the entire rebuild, when they were basically mediocre, and it was just like when the teams really didn't pass the sniff test, if you know what I mean. But once you finally get over that hump and then you prove that you can do it multiple years in a row, it starts to become a different thing. And then 2022, you miraculously go on that unexpected World Series run. Started with that first game, the comeback in the top of the ninth inning against the St. Louis Cardinals, and then it just basically took off from there. Beating the Atlanta Braves, just basically embarrassing them at that point in the NLDS. Bryce Harper swing of his life in the NLCS, and then everything really just came apart in the World Series after you went up 2-1, getting no hit and all that stuff. And at the end of the day, you did lose to a better team that you quote unquote were supposed to lose to in the Houston Astros. But then now you were building something here. Now you got a team that has postseason experience. They know how to get there now. It's now getting back to that journey, getting back to that peak, and finding a way to clinch everything, finding a way to get over that hump, finding a way to finish the deal. That basically what John Middleton was, trying to start when he was bringing in so many people to this roster. When you bring in Bryce Harper, when you bring in JT Realmuto, when you bring in a Zach Wheeler, when you bring in a Kyle Schwarber, when you bring in a Nick Castellanos, and when, you added on top of it Aaron Nola, Rhys Hoskins, who sadly did leave the organization after last season, but still he was a part of that to begin with the start of this postseason stuff, and sadly he didn't get to experience 2023 because of the torn ACL. But still, it's just when you added on top of that some of the homegrown talent, and then you add in some young guys like Alec Boehm, like Bryson Stott, you bring in Brandon Marsh and everything there, something starts to come together, and then you start to, appreciate what this team is. You start to build a bond between fan base and basically, team. And I felt like that's what, that 2022 postseason run really did. And when you see, how crazy Citizens Bank Park was, throughout the entirety of the 2022 playoffs, the Phillies were basically unbeatable in Citizens Bank Park until, the World Series happened, Game 4, Game 5, and all that stuff, where the team basically just ran out of gas. And, now you're looking to continue that into 2023, and once again, get off to another slow start, classic Phillies, and then, the gears start clicking, and then you go on another, basically gigantic win percentage pace, and then you actually have a very good month of September, and then you figure out a way to get the job done. You clinch a first wild card spot, and then you get home field for the wild card series, and then you go on another deep playoff run. You beat the Atlanta Braves once again in four games. You win on your home ballpark once again. You embarrass them again, an historic Atlanta Braves team. Fantastic offense and everything, but the Phillies just found a way to shut them down and have their number. And then basically everything fell apart in the NLCS after you went up 2-0, where you completely dominated the Arizona Diamondbacks like you were supposed to. And then for some reason, something just completely evaporated once you left Citizens Bank Park to go to Arizona for 3 games. You lose 1, you lose 2, and, some games when you had the lead, you use Craig Kimbrell a little too much. He blows it. You eventually get walked off and all that stuff. You do win Game 5, and then you set yourself up to possibly clinch a pennant on your home field with Aaron Nola on the bump in Game 6, a possible Ranger Suarez for a Game 7, and then it just offense dies and nothing really goes there. Game 7, you have Johan Rojas with bases loaded and 2 outs. You don't pinch hit for him. He strikes out in that situation. And then, it was a very, very bad feeling. And then we go into this year, you extend Zach Wheeler, you extend Aaron Nola, basically bringing a lot of the same guys back, minus some few changes here and there. Bullpen was ranked at the top of the league coming into this year, and no one wanted to believe it. And even though they really showcased why they can be a good bullpen, and to start the year, you were, regardless of the first 2 series of the year against the Braves, against the Reds, you were a fantastic team. You were dominating with your starting rotation. You dominated with your offense. You were the best team in baseball for a good margin of that first half of the year. And then I guess you could say that came back down to earth a little too much. Then losing started to happen after the All-Star break. kind of got into a little bit of a rut there. It was just getting ugly. We were getting pissed off as a fan base because why are you losing so much? Why are you losing so many series? And it's just like, are they ever going to figure this out? Oh my God, this is going to be like fucking historic collapse of the most historic collapse of historic collapses in the city of Philadelphia. We just had the Eagles, who started off, freaking 10-1, go on a freaking huge, gigantic collapse in front of us. We don't want to happen that with our baseball team. But then they eventually figured it out, got the job done. They're still one of the top teams in baseball, bearing some other people's opinions and all that stuff, because there's still a lot of Philadelphia fans that are doubting this team. And like I said in the other day, the concerns are definitely valid, but I don't think that means, oh, just because the Phillies' flaws outweigh everything else, that just means the Phillies are an automatic no to do anything in the playoffs. Every single team in baseball that is qualifying for the playoffs, they have flaws. And I don't think the Phillies' flaws outweigh everything else. It's just that once you start the playoffs, all that matters is what happens starting the first game, how you come out, with your mindset. And this Phillies team has had the mindset basically the entire year. We have a goal in mind, and we are going to accomplish that goal, whatever means possible. We have multiple goals. We want to win the division. We want to get a bye week. And then we want to get back to the World Series and get that World Series win. Right now, they checked one of those off of the checklist. And now, they got to clinch a bye week. And like I said, I'm recording this on Monday, so that could have already been done. And that is checked off the checklist. But for right now, as I am talking here on a Monday night at 11:04 p.m., now is the time to clinch a bye week. Whether that's the first bye, the first seed in the National League, whether that's the second seed in the National League, I don't think it really matters at the end of the day as long as you get the bye week, because I've stated many times, winning the division really means nothing if you don't get a bye week. If you have to play in the wild card series again, don't want to see that happen. This Phillies team, they want to, a goal set in mind. They want to get the bye week. They want to get their guys some rest. They want those 4 to 5 days off, because that could definitely benefit a lot of guys that are in this room. It could benefit Zach Wheeler. It could benefit Aaron. It could benefit basically the entire pitching staff from the starters to the bullpen. And hey, it could definitely benefit guys like Bryce Harper, who is, still dealing with the wrist and the elbow pain, even though they said really rest isn't going to do anything about it. But, if you're getting 4 or 5 days of rest there, that could definitely do some wonders for you. Help Kyle Schwarber out, get him off his legs. Every other guy in the lineup as well gets JT some days off of his legs too. Just basically every single guy in the lineup. Nick Castellanos is playing 162 games during the season, basically, which most likely is going to happen unless he does get the day off tomorrow with the hangover game. But he's slotted for 162. I'm sure he can use a good 4 or 5 days off. That definitely would help him a little bit. And yeah, some of the other guys that are banged up, that'll definitely help a lot. And that's why that bye week is so important. And of course, there's still fans out there that are like, I don't want the bye week because you got 4 days off. You're going to be rusty. It's going to ruin any sort of momentum you had. Don't think like Don't think like the Braves. Don't think like that whatsoever. The Braves use those as an excuse. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whatsoever. I don't care that, the Texas Rangers last year won a World Series without a bye week. The Houston Astros won in 2022 and they had the bye week. I'm trying to think of what else. The Atlanta Braves, when they won in 2021, they had a bye week. So that helps. Even though they're still, granted with, the extra wild card and all that stuff. I still think the bye week at the end of the day matters. It's still very valid. I would assume the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2020, I'm not really sure how that worked entirely, but I'm sure they had a bye week. And going into those playoffs, granted, it was a very shortened season, so, rest probably wasn't the biggest ordeal there or the biggest need there, but still, getting a bye week is very important to give certain guys some rest. And, it's very important at the end of the day. So that's why I think the bye week is so important for this team, because there's some guys in this team that do need the rest, and maybe that can work wonders for certain guys. So it's not a given that they're going to struggle immediately because they have a bye week, and it's not going to be guaranteed that they immediately go off because they've had all this rest and relaxation and just waiting to see who they're going to face for the National League Division Series. So yeah, nothing is guaranteed at the end of the day, But I still think it's going to be beneficial for this franchise to get that bye week and get those 4 to 5 days of rest so certain guys can get, time off their feet so they could be more rested, more ready to go for the playoffs instead of having to play a 1, 2, 3 wild card series to where you have to use some of your top guys in the rotation specifically to where now that you have the bye week, you could set up the rotation the way you wanted to and, basically restating that guys get rest and all that stuff. You don't have to worry about that if you're not playing in the wild card series. With the wild card series, you have to start Zach Wheeler game 1, you have to start Aaron Nola game 2, and then if it goes to a game 3, who the hell knows? And then whatever happens in the NLDS, because the NLDS would happen directly, basically right after the wild card series. You're not set up to have your ace in game 1. It'd be Christopher Sanchez or Ranger Suarez starting in game 1 of that playoff series. So that's why the bye week is also very crucial in terms of setting up the matchups that you want. So, and also a factor with bye week in getting home field. Home field has been crucial for this Phillies team the entire season. They are the best team when it comes to playing in their home stadium. And that is a given because this team has been fantastic when it comes to playing in Citizens Bank Park, and that is a given. The Phillies' record this year at Citizens Bank Park, it's crazy. It is absolutely insane. They're 53-26. That is absolutely crazy. Yeah, the Dodgers are also a very good home team as well. They're 50-28. But it's just like crazy at the end of the day. They're 40-38 when playing on the road. So you're possibly talking about this team. Who knows what happens, in that final series against the Washington Nationals. But a team that's barely above 500 playing on the road, that just shows you if they're still in this position to get a bye week, that's how dominant they are in their home stadium. So that's why the bye week is also super crucial as well. And also, you could say getting the first seed would be even more crucial in terms of the home field advantage throughout the entirety of the playoffs. Going from the first round, the championship series, to the World Series, getting home field advantage for all those stuff. So you have 4 games in your own ballpark. That is very important at the end of the day. And like I said, very, very, very crucial for this Phillies squad. So, it's definitely going to be an interesting ride here. Basically, when I come back Friday night. It'll be Saturday. It'll be the final 2 games against the Washington Nationals. So basically, at that point, you're just gearing up and getting ready to go for the postseason. So that'll probably be the least of interest, those final 2 games against Washington, unless they still mean something in terms of bye week, because the Phillies can still clinch the bye week in general and still want to fight for that first seed because right now they're just neck and neck with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And they do have the tiebreaker, but right now they're a half game behind them as I'm talking here on Monday night. Things can change whenever this was posted. So, like I said, I'm going to keep throwing that warning in there for you guys. This is past Amadeo talking on a future date where he has no idea what's going to happen. Because this could be posted on Thursday and I'm down in Orlando in, the hotel, Disney World, Universal, or whatever it is. And I'm just, watching from afar, just keeping updates on the MLB app, seeing what the Phillies are doing in these last 2 games here. So this version of Amadeo, he has no idea what's going to be happening over the course of the next 2 days. But the Amadeo that's going to be on Thursday, okay, he'll be prepared for that, but he won't be able to share that on a video for you guys. So, oh, God. Oh, God. This Philadelphia Phillies team. They are definitely one interesting bunch, as you're seeing, constantly from them celebrating in the locker room. I really do wonder how tomorrow, Tuesday's game, is going to go with the hangover and all that stuff. Even Rob Thompson said that in the speech to the guys, like, well, party tonight, but make sure you're ready to go for tomorrow. So that's definitely gonna be very interesting to see what happens there. And it was still awesome to see, John Middleton talking there saying, I want my fucking trophy back, and all the guys going crazy about it. So yeah, there's definitely a goal set for this team right now. And obviously, yes, they're not the only team that's set with the goal of winning in the World Series, but, right now, and I could even tell it from the celebration on the field after they win the NL East, definitely wasn't over the top, definitely wasn't too crazy. They know they have other goals that are set and planned. They have other goals that they need to accomplish, so this was just one of those checked off, and we're not going to go too crazy about it because we have our goals set higher than just the NL East. It's bye week. It's getting back to the World Series and winning the World Series and getting a parade down Broad Street. So, that's the sense that I get, at least, from them celebrating for the NL East, because like I said, there was just definitely nothing over the top. It's nothing like when you saw in 2007 when they finally got over that hump and made it back to the playoffs. This was, okay, this team has been to the postseason the past couple of times as a wild card team. They finally won the division, but we've been here before. We know what we got to do. We know what we got to do. No time to go crazy right here. We can enjoy the night, but when we come back tomorrow, we're ready to go. We're ready to go try to get a bye week, because that's what we need to do. At the end of the day, we're not playing in another wild card series. We're making sure we get those 4 days of rest, those 4 or 5 days of rest. We're making sure that we're good. We're making sure that we're waiting for a specific team to come to us, to our ballpark, and we'll be ready to go for the NLDS and get our postseason ride started. Zach Wheeler on the bump at CBP, Game 1 against whoever is coming to Citizens Bank Park. And that's the goal and motto of this team, and that's going to be something very, very interesting. So, and if we're even talking about, just what they could possibly see if they are in the seed and, the bye week seeds and all that stuff. So the way that it goes out, if I just remember off the top of my head. So if you're the second seed in the league, or in the National League, you play the winner of the first and second wild card series, the first and the second wild card team series. And then if you were the first seed in the National League, you play the series that is between, am I reading that wrong, actually? No, I think I am reading that right, because if I'm not mistaken, no, actually, I think I'm thinking that entirely. I'm either confusing this really badly. I'm not doing any post editing from this, so you're just getting this all from the top of my head. So, so that's basically where my brain is right now. So let's see. I'm just trying to see how everything can break down right here, just in general right now. So, man, I really can't find anything on this, but if we're talking about divisions, like I said, I'm probably screwing this up right now, but I do think if you're the second, the second in the National League in that bye week, you play whoever is between the first and the second wild card series. And then if you're the top one, you play either the third division winner or the 6th spot in the wild card. I think that's the way it goes. It could be completely the other way around, so definitely correct me there in the comment section. So I am sorry for stalling for that time and me having a goddamn brain fart. I've been doing a lot of videos today. I did the Eagles video that's posted, a couple of days ago. I did the Flyers video that was posted a couple of days ago, whatever, of these 3-day mixes here. So a lot of work today. A lot of work, and I'm going to have to wake up in the next few hours, to get to the airport. So 7 a.m. flight, got to get there at 4:30 or near 5 o'clock. So definitely going to be a very long day. It's been a long day today. It's going to be a longer day tomorrow. So definitely, so you guys can just bear with me right here. But overall, just looking at this team right now, I'm confident in this team. I believe in this team. At this point, basically, for the past, so many games, it's basically just been get me to the playoffs. Get me to the playoffs. And I think some people are on that motto because, the Eagles are also a major distraction because of the way they're playing. So right now, it's just okay, Phillies, please get us to the playoffs so you can at least distract us from whatever the hell's going on with the Birds. That's probably it there. But that's still a little bit of a ways away. And I think the schedule, actually, for the playoffs, if I'm not mistaken, so this is the way it goes out. So look at it right here. We got, the wild card series that starts October 1st and goes through October 3rd for Game 3, if necessary. And then for the NLDS, that goes from October 5th to October 11th. That starts on a Saturday. October 5th, October 6th are games 1 and 2. October 8th and the 9th for games 3 and 4. Game 4 if necessary. And then game 5 would be on October 11th if necessary. Then you go to the League Championship Series. The NLCS, that would start on October 13th. And then, October 14th would be Game 2. October 16th and 17th, Games 3 and 4. The 18th is Game 5. The 20th is Game 6. And the 21st is Game 7 in the World Series. That starts on October 25th, and it ends on November 2nd, Game 7, if necessary. And there's also a note right here on ESPN that says if both of the league championship series end by October 19th, which would be after Game 5s, meaning that there's neither series that lasts longer than 5 games. The World Series will begin on October 22nd. So that's definitely a little bit of an interesting note right there. That's funny because I'm not sure if they did that for the Phillies and the Houston Astros World Series. I still think the World Series started on the day it was scheduled for. There was like a lot of days off in between that, if I'm not mistaken. I could be very wrong on that factor, but I think there definitely was a little bit of a break before that World Series. So that's interesting on that part. But yeah, it does make sense if both teams that clinch the pennant win it before, like, Game 5, Game 6, and all that stuff. It does make sense because there would be that long gap between the championship series and the World Series. So that definitely does make sense at the end of the day. But we'll see where this takes us. We'll see where this takes us 100%. And I'm also just looking at the schedule once again just to see if anything happens, because if I'm looking at everything right here. So NLCS Game 5, that would be on the 18th and everything there. And, of course, I think that's when the fucking Flyers play on the 18th. That's their home opener, if I'm not mistaken. The last time I checked, I think that is their home opener. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. October 18th. No, it's not. It's the 19th is their home opener. And... okay, so the 18th. Okay, so they wouldn't play on their home opener, so that definitely is more beneficial. That definitely is more beneficial at the end of the day. And it looks like the scheduling right here, so yeah, I'm just looking at this as a Flyers fan, so don't mind me right there. Just looking at Flyers schedule compared to Phillies schedule. I would like to actually not have both of those on the same day. Just being personal there. But right now, just basically waiting for the playoffs at this point. Like I said, I think this is going to be posted on Thursday, so whenever you're reviewing this, it's the day that it's posted, and I have no idea what's happening over the next 2 days, but you'll know once this video is posted. So this video could be absolutely pointless, but I wanted to get something out there, just, basically bar room conversations and all that stuff, talking with you guys here. So I think that will end it for tonight. Get this video finished, get this video uploaded and scheduled and all that stuff for you boys, and we'll call it there. So I appreciate you guys tuning into this whenever it is posted. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. And also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal. Do not pass it up. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I appreciate you all. I'll see you next time.